A Good Samaritan's 911 call and a quick action by a police sergeant stopped a scammer from getting his hands on thousands of dollars. Body camera footage provided by White Settlement Police shows the actions taken to keep the victim from losing the money. She told the sergeant someone from her bank security team needed her to deposit her cash into a Bitcoin ATM. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to the sergeant and the Good Samaritan. She's live now in White Settlement. Peyton.
Heather, and this story will really just make you angry. Police tell me that the scammer had been calling this elderly woman all week and threatening her. This scammer actually set up an Uber to come pick up this elderly woman from her retirement community and take her to the bank. That's where she took out $40,000 in order to make this transaction.
She is not clicking on anything. Do you really want to fight this fight with me?
That's not your problem.
Yes, it is my problem because what you're doing is committing a crime. That makes it my problem.
Sergeant James Stewart with White Settlement Police stepped in to stop an elderly woman in her 80s from sending tens of thousands of dollars to a man claiming he was with Chase Bank.
I was irritated, not just as a police officer, but as a human being.
However, the first person to take notice was Mindy Jordan.
At that point, she had already put in $23,900, and all I could think was, like, they're trying to just they're robbing her blind.
Jordan stopped by the Chevron off I-30 and Cherry Lane Thursday for gas and cash. She says the woman still had wads of $100 bills in her purse, so she called 911.
I noticed an elderly lady feeding thousands of dollars into the cryptocurrency machine, and the people on the phone sound like foreigners, and they have her like FaceTiming to make sure that she's putting the money in the machine.
Can you go get her to stop?
I tried, and she said that she's trying to correct the mistake that somebody else made.
Oh,
so
God.
she knows it. Yeah, and I just don't, it's so bad.
Jordan waits for Sergeant Stewart to arrive on scene.
Hey, ma'am.
Yes.
Can I talk to you for a second?
Please, I have the bank on the phone.
Okay, let me talk to who you're talking to on the bank.
I'm in danger.
Okay, no, you're not, ma'am.
This is Chase Bank.
Let me talk to them.
Sergeant Stewart tells the woman to stop inserting money and takes the phone. The male voice on the other end continues to say he's a Chase Bank security team member.
Allow me to speak to the customer.
No, you're not going to speak with the customer anymore. You have already spoken to the customer enough. You never hit the submit button, or he kept saying hit the I'm done button, because if she'd done that, that money would have been gone.
Jordan called the number on the Bitcoin machine to file a fraud report. The woman will get her $23,000 back.
It just could have been so different, and I'm so thankful to God that it's not, that it ended it happily for her, and she's able to get her stuff back.
Sergeant Stewart tells me he still does not know where the scammer lives. There's no really way to track it or conduct an investigation. He just reiterates he's extremely thankful and glad that woman did not hit the submit I'm done button, or all of her money would be gone.
A former gang member is asking Dallas police to do more to fight gang violence after a group opened fire on a woman's home in southeast Dallas. It was caught on tape. Fox 4's Lori Brown is live in Dallas with more on the story. Lori.
Steve, there is a lot the Dallas Police Department is not saying about this shooting. When I asked a spokeswoman if it is gang-related, she responded that is under investigation, and that is what is frustrating some people who live in the area.
Laverne Baker says her home surveillance camera captured the terrifying moments early Tuesday morning as 8 people approached and rapidly fired shots. The firing continued from across the street as they drove away.
Like bombs going off. It felt like a war zone.
The 74-year-old showed us how dozens of bullet holes pierced her living room walls, her TV, and even her water pipes.
Bullet hole above your head, bullet hole up there, bullet hole with the window where they shot my window out. And bullet holes through here where it went through and hit my water line.
And this is the second time it's happened in just 7 months.
I think they did worse damage this time because they shut out all my windows and it shot my car.
Well, growing up in this neighborhood is really a challenge.
Lamont Levels, who lives nearby, is working to bring attention to what he says is a gang problem in Dallas.
They put over 165 rounds into her house. That's unacceptable to me.
The Dallas Police incident reports call the crime destruction of property and vandalism, but details are lacking, and there is nothing identifying it as gang activity.
I think it's misleading. I think that the police know that it's gang related.
Lovell says he knows the signs because he is a former gang member.
We thought we was going to start this gang to provide protection, love for our community. We didn't never think about the blueprint of the destruction. I was shot in my temple. I was left for dead by my own gang members. So I tell people now, God closed my eyes in order for me to see.
Now he's dedicated his life to speaking to young people, warning them not to go down the path he did.
You're either going to end up in a penitentiary or you're going to end up dead and gone.
When you hear the message about violent crime in Dallas going down, what goes through your mind?
When I hear a message about the crime going down, I laugh about it because I know the crime is not going down. They don't have gang problems where they live, where they lay their head at night, but there's gang problems over here every night.
Baker says she is praying police capture the shooters before someone is killed.
You can't live in peace. You never know when they're coming.
Laverne Baker says she knows she was not the target of the shooting, but it is unclear who was. A spokeswoman for the Dallas Police Department says its gang unit actively works cases, patrols, and does outreach throughout the community. Steve.
All right, Lori Brown, thank you.
The father of a newborn was found shot dead in a Louisville parking lot.
And police say the man who shot him apparently did it just after a minor car crash. Surveillance video captured the murder of 27-year-old Jonathan Berto. It was his mother who ultimately found his body after he did not show up to pick up his girlfriend and baby. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke with the victim's mom, and she's live at the Louisville Police Headquarters. Peyton.
Steve, Louisville police say surveillance video captured the shooting on camera and also captured the suspect's license plate. Then investigators traced that license plate to a Mesquite address, and they also used flock cameras to take the suspect into custody.
He's leaving behind his daughter, his girlfriend, his whole family that loves him. Like, he had a whole life in front of him.
It was a mother's instinct Sunday evening when Rosa Berto Chapa received a phone call. Her son was late picking up his girlfriend and their newborn. Berto Chapa tracked her son's last location, the parking lot of a Louisville auto shop off I-35E.
When I pulled up, I came up and I saw his body laying on the ground, but it was covered in a plastic white bag.
Louisville police say 27-year-old Jonathan Berto was found shot to death next to his silver truck just after 5 p.m. Sunday. According to an arrest warrant affidavit Fox 4 obtained on Thursday, investigators believe Berto's murder took place shortly after a minor car collision. Police viewed surveillance video from the auto shop showing a black Tahoe pull up next to Berto's truck. A man, later identified by police as Arion Morris, got out of the Tahoe holding a semi-automatic firearm in his right hand. Police say Morris looked down at the front bumper of his Tahoe, shakes his head from side to side once, and then is seen pointing the gun at Jonathan's head. According to investigators, Morris fired 4 times and then took off.
There was no reason for my son's life to be taken that way. There's no reason.
This photo shows a bullet hole through Berto's passenger window, plus black paint scraped across the back left side of his truck. Investigators say they got a license plate number for the Tahoe from the surveillance video. It traced back to an address in Mesquite. Tuesday, Mesquite police pulled Morris over, and he was taken into custody. He's now charged with murder.
He can remember my son's face for the rest of his life and know what he did to this little girl that lost her dad. She won't be able to ever dance with her dad. She won't ever be able to hug him anymore. I want him to know that. I want him to know what he did.
Morris currently sits in the Denton County Jail this evening. As for his criminal history, police tell me that he was arrested for manslaughter back in 2002 in Mississippi.
The family of a sex offender charged with kidnapping a 10-year-old girl says he doesn't even live at the home where he's registered as a sex offender. Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. We are also learning more about what happened during the kidnapping. Police say Doyle Tipton admitted to detectives that he forced the girl to perform lewd acts on him in his van. Now the suspect faces additional charges. Fox 4's David Santindri live at the Dallas County Jail with the update. David.
Yeah, the sex offender was living 2 blocks away from where he allegedly kidnapped this 10-year-old girl. But the thing is, no one in that neighborhood really knew that he was a sex offender because it appears he was lying to law enforcement about where he was living. Doyle Tipton is a registered sex offender since 2011 for sexually assaulting a 23-year-old man. Now he's charged in the kidnapping and sexual assault of a 10-year-old girl in Mesquite last week.
My heart goes out to her, truly.
And Tipton's cousin says she had no idea he was using her family's address to register as a sex offender while never living there.
Of course, we don't condone any kind of, sexual predator, especially a child predator.
According to a newly obtained arrest affidavit, Tipton confessed to kidnapping and sexually assaulting the 10-year-old girl in his red minivan. Police say he found her walking down a Mesquite street after running away from home for being grounded. In the van, police say he forced her to perform a sex act. According to the affidavit, Tipton stopped in a parking lot, and the girl punched him in the face to get away and get help at a fire station. The girl was forensically interviewed. Surveillance video helped police connect Tipton's van to the kidnapping. The girl immediately identified Tipton from a photo lineup.
We don't want to see that happen to anybody.
Tipton is charged with aggravated kidnapping. Mesquite PD says more charges are likely. You were saying additional charges are likely to be filed in Hunt County, but also there might be additional charges here in Mesquite as well?
Yes.
And that's for failing to register as a sex offender?
Yes, there's requirements to notify of change of address.
On Texas DPS's sex offender registry, Tipton's address is listed in Quinlan in Hunt County. Tipton is listed as low risk. He's required to check in annually and last checked in with the Hunt County Sheriff's Office in November. Registries allow community members to know where sex offenders live, but Fox 4 uncovered Tipton does not live in Quinlan. He lives 40 miles away with his wife at her apartment in Mesquite, 2 blocks away from where he allegedly kidnapped the 10-year-old girl. Neighbors told Fox 4 on Wednesday they had no idea Tipton is a sex offender.
None, honestly. I mean, he knows my kids. I've got 3 boys. And no, I just told my wife, she's probably more shocked than me.
The Hunt County Sheriff's Office says it has had a deputy assigned to Tipton's case. A spokesperson says they do random checks at sex offender addresses, but it's unclear if that was done with Tipton.
We're still trying to wrap our heads around it at the same time.
Meanwhile, Tipton's cousin says her family members signed affidavits with the Hunt County Sheriff's Office swearing Tipton did not live at their home like he claimed.
We did find out that he has been using this address. We were not aware he was using this address, and we were kind of shocked when we found out because, we don't want people to think that we're associated with this kind of behavior or that we knew anything about this.
Local law enforcement agencies, like in this case the Hunt County Sheriff's Office, are really just assisting Texas DPS when checking in on these sex offenders. So earlier today I reached out to Texas DPS trying to see if they wanted to add any sort of a statement with us, had a few questions for them. I received an automated response around noon saying that it had received my email, but since then we have not received any sort of a response.
Fort Worth police say a woman stole a mortuary van with a corpse inside and then ditched the van outside the Fort Worth Zoo. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Police say Valerie Ellis stole the van while it was parked at John Peter Smith Hospital. The driver of the van had gone inside the hospital to retrieve another body. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager live in Fort Worth tonight with a story. Peyton.
Stephen, Fort Worth police still do not know why this woman stole the van or even if she knew there was a body in the back. JPS Hospital tells me the driver of the van went inside the hospital around 7 p.m. for a pickup, and when he came back outside, the van was missing. Late Tuesday night, Fort Worth police found a stolen mortuary transport van with a corpse inside parked on the perimeter of the Fort Worth Zoo. A driver passing by alerted police a van was abandoned off Park Place Avenue, a wooded back street. Officers had been looking for it after police say 35-year-old Valerie Traglor Ellis took it from the JPS hospital parking lot earlier that evening. Around 7 p.m., Fort Worth police received a 911 call from a mortuary transport employee stating he left the transport van running near the ambulance bay when he went inside the hospital. When the employee came back outside to the parking area, the van was gone. He told police a corpse was inside the transport van, and he was at JPS to pick up a second corpse.
We had witnesses in the area that noticed a woman kind of walking by a car that seemed very suspicious. Then the woman just saw that the counter window was a little bit down. She decided she was going to jump in the car and take it for a ride.
Police say Traglor Ellis didn't take the van far, ditching it 2 miles away outside the zoo. Officers canvassed the area and found Traglor Ellis on foot nearby.
They found a woman that fit the description for what the previous witness that told us at JPS, and the woman still had the same clothes on.
Investigators also pulled the zoo's surveillance video to confirm Traglor Ellis was the driver. She was arrested for theft and abuse of a corpse. Police say they don't know her motive or whether she knew there was a body in the back of the van. They do say both the body and the vehicle were intact and not damaged.
This was a thing where it could have went bad, but we were able to apprehend this woman, and then she was taken to jail.
And according to public records, Traglor Ellis has multiple misdemeanor cases here in Tarrant County and in Wise County. She's in the process right now of being transported from the Fort Worth Police Jail to the Tarrant County Jail. Steve and Heather.
All right. A father of two is dead, ambushed from behind. Dallas detectives say Keelan Brown had no idea he was going to lose his life. Police hope you can help track down his killers. Fox 4 Sean Rabb has the surveillance video first.
I'm with Detective Theodore Gross. We are at 1301 West Wheatland apartment complex. Detective, what happened here? Homicide here June 7th?
Yeah, June 7th, about 12:30 a.m. The victim, Keelan Brown, had just dropped his family off and was coming to park his vehicle. As he was parking his vehicle, a silver sedan, which we believe to be a Lexus, possibly a 2004 model, parked outside of the complex, and three suspects were dressed in all black. They exit the vehicle.
What color is that car?
It was silver.
Okay, and it parked out there on Wheatland?
It parked outside of the complex. Three suspects exited, cover head to toe, in all black. One had a pistol, one had a rifle. He had just dropped off his family as he was getting his property out of his car. Another video is them actually staging behind this building, waiting for him. And as they see their opportunity, they walk up. Two of the three guys walk up, and with his back turned, they executed him.
Tell me about Keelan Brown.
He was a husband. He was a father of two. He had a recent newborn. He was trying to get his life back together and was taking care of his family and doing right. And these people show up and decided they were going to end that.
And right here at Father's Day, his children now have lost their dad.
Yes, they have.
What do you need, Detective?
What we need is the public's assistance to help identify the silver Lexus sedan. Witnesses here at the complex actually say they've seen that vehicle recently this week. We need them to help identify that, as well as anybody who is involved with this offense.
Listen, not only might someone identify the vehicle, but they may have heard about what went down here, right?
Absolutely.
And you need those folks to reach out.
Yes, I do.
How do they do that?
They can contact me by my city email or by my phone number at 469-792-5142.
And that email?
It's theodore.gross@dallaspolice.gov. We don't have any reason as to why this happened yet, but from what we can tell, this was an ambush. This was a horrific incident that happened to Mr. Brown.
All right, Keelan Brown, ambushed right here, 1301 Wheatland, the apartment complex. Who's behind it? Get at the detective. Get at Detective Theodore Gross. Help solve the murder of Keelan Brown.
Federal officials say they have seen an increase in gun machine conversion devices, better known as Glock switches. One was used in a 2022 Deep Ellum murder, but the seizures have ramped up recently. Fox 4 Stephen Dial spoke to the ATF and the U.S. Attorney about the problem and joins us in studio with more. Stephen.
Clarice, these switches are very small, some smaller than the size of a Lego. It's just a piece of plastic. Today, statewide federal officials announced Operation Kill Switch to get them off the streets. What you just saw was an agent firing 30 rounds in less than 2 seconds. The pistol has what the ATF calls a Glock switch on it. And they are seeing more of these tiny modification devices in North Texas.
This 1-inch piece of plastic is killing people.
From 2017 to 2023, Texas ATF seized nearly 1,000 switches, half of them in 2023. Monday, the ATF and U.S. Attorney's Office announced a statewide campaign called Operation Kill Switch.
This is the most dangerous problem that I have seen in my time on the job.
The back plate, smooth here. This is a pistol without a Glock switch attached. This is a pistol with a Glock switch attached. They're very, very small, very easy to miss. And this is in the semi-automatic configuration. And all we do is turn it, and it's now into the fully automatic position.
In November 2023, a Dallas police officer was shot in the calf while serving a warrant for a capital murder suspect. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia said the suspect, Jordan Owens, fired 15 gunshots at officers using a full auto switch. ATF Dallas Special Agent in Charge, Jeffrey Boschek, told me that a Glock switch was used in a deadly shooting in Deep Ellum back in 2022. The shooting killed 2 people and injured 3 others. 2 of them were struck by stray gunfire. Even in the hands of a trained firearms professional, switches make handguns nearly impossible to control and fire accurately. Boschek says these Lego-size additions are being sold on social media apps and oftentimes made with 3D printers.
We're buying them right now undercover anywhere from about $100 to $400 a piece. It costs about 8 cents to make these things.
From now until the end of August, Crime Stoppers will offer cash rewards for information leading to arrest or prosecution of those who possess switches.
We have fentanyl from a narcotics perspective. We have machine gun conversion devices from a firearms perspective. It's a daily battle to stay ahead of the tide of these things hitting our streets.
In 2021, a Glock switch was used in the murder of a Houston police officer in Clarice. To make things worse, Boschek believes that a lot of police evidence rooms have guns with Glock switches on them. They're so hard to find that they're on, especially if they're black, the same color as a gun.
Stephen Dial reporting. Stephen, thank you.